friends, let's perk up our minds by listening to an enthralling story which has been titled as Bringing Up Kari. This story has been written by Don Gopal Mukherjee, and in this story, we are gonna come to know about the sway of fostering. It also focuses on the frame of mind of animals. My dear all friends, this story is about an elephant who is 5 year old, namely Kari, and his 9 year old owner. Begin the story by introducing Kari. Kari was a 5-month-old baby elephant who lived under a pavilion and ate about 16 kgs of twigs a day. He lived with his 9-year-old owner. They just lived every day a green life with one another's blithe company. His nature was extremely susceptible. No matter how callow Kari was, he was extremely susceptible. The first thing that represented his susceptible nature was his bravado to save a drowning boy. Yes, a drowning boy, a human child, was saved by a baby elephant. It begins like this. Kari was glued to morning river baths. He would just go every day to the river and have a bath, bask in the gleaming sunshine. His owner would rub him, and this bath would just perk up Kari. It was a dime a dozen for both of them to follow this routine. After the bath, his owner would just go into the jungle to get some tantalizing, tangy and juicy twigs for Kari. But, my dear friends, here was a twist. It was also not an easy job because he had to be extremely scrupulous while cutting those twigs. Kari was like a human child. He wouldn't just eat any messed up twig. One day, when his owner was doing the same, he just heard Kari calling onto him. But it sounded quite on tenterhooks. He just ran flat out to the edge of jungle to look in on him. But to his surprise, he saw there no one except a black thing which was afloat in the river. Succeeding moments were just out of blue for him because that black thing was nothing except Kari. Kari had jumped flat out into the river to save a human child. He pushed his owner into the river to drag out the boy out of water. But how come a 9-year-old boy could drag a human boy, out of the water against the water currents? Obviously and apparently it was just impossible for him. He just thought that he bellied up. But to his surprise, the usual slothful and dilly-dally Kari, he saw him jumping flat out into the river to get them ashore. He got them ashore with a moment that gleamed his bravado, that gleamed his susceptible nature. My dear siblings, you see, doesn't it make us realize that how these animals possess these heartstrings? I think they do possess better than us. They possess heartstrings better than us. As I said in the beginning of the story, that the story also focuses on the sway of fostering. So the author tells us about that sway or the impact of upbringing by telling us about Kari's training stage. His owner taught Kari each and every signal, each and every sign. But the one that was not just a cup of tea for everyone, that was just not a piece of cake for everyone, that was the master call. Master call was a unique hissing and howling sound to tip off the elephant. For example, let me explain this master call. For example, if anyone is lost in the darkness of the hair-raising jungle, he can use this sound to tip off the elephant, and the elephant would just pull down all the tree trunks and carve out a path towards the home. Not only this, but the cracking sound of those trunks will also make other wild animals hush up. You see how important it was for him to teach Kari this master call. But my dear friends, it was such an irksome job that it took him almost 5 years to teach Kari this master call. He says that this Kari was it was like a human child. He had to be trained, he had to be taught, he had to be tipped off while being naughty. Like once he tasted these ripe bananas, and he just remained no stranger to these bananas. He began to steal these bananas from the home, and as soon as his owner found out about it, he just touched the ceilings. He scolded and rebuked Kari. And Kari, it's an avowal that elephants understand both words as well as children. And Kari mended his behavior gradually because he knew he deserved this blown up fuse. He mended himself. My dear friends, as I said that it's an avowal that they understand both words as well as children, so they will definitely mend themselves. But if you scold an elephant without any reason, it's a factual point that they remember each and everything. They will definitely give you a dose of your own medicine. So there was a twist. He scolded him just without any reason whenever he would wish to scold Kari. No, there should have been a reason for that scolding. My dear siblings, you see this story, you came to know about the training stage of Kari, his nature. You see how his upbringing had been, how his owner taught him, and how his life had been. And every day they lived a life like this. This story, it's interesting. It's a must-read story for all of us because it just makes us realize about this way of fostering. You see, it makes it noticeable that one's character all comes from one's this upbringing. Also, the most important one that it gives us, the most important lesson that we all must be of faith with is that everything is gonna give you a dose of your own medicine, whether a better one or the one having all our marbles, but it has to be tasted. Thank you.